Hey, crypto heads! It's the Goose with the Cryptic Paranormal show. Got a really cool show for you tonight. We're still bringing. What are you laughing at already?
Jeff, that's Fent.
Is it really Jeff, or is it like his doppelganger?
His doppelganger.
That's so funny. So we got a really good show for you guys tonight. It's all about the volunteers at some of our favorite historical haunted locations, kind of like an appreciation day, let's just say. But they do so much great work, and I think it's really important that we focus on that and what they do for these locations tonight. And we have special guests lined up. We have Shelly Bennett from volunteer from Madison Seminary, sitting right next to Denise, co-host. What's up? How are you guys?
Great. Hi, guys.
Good. We got down below. We got Kay Colburn from the Hinsdale House. How are you doing tonight?
Good. How are you?
We're hanging. I'm really excited about tonight. We're gonna have a good time. And then we have Amanda Rollins from Fairfield Infirmary. What's up?
Hey guys.
So how do we want to start this? I don't even know who to start with. Let's just start with Shelly.
Of course.
Of course. We'll pick on Shelly first.
Mm-hmm.
How did you start with Madison? Like, what's the origin story with that? Like, how did you get involved? Like, I mean, with paranormal. Okay.
It's not a lie.
That's the show, folks. Have a good night.
It was a public hunt for Mother's Day, and I've always wanted to come here. And Zach, my son, who volunteers here too, he got us public hunt tickets. And something happened on the phone with Addie and Zach when they were setting it up, and she decided she knows that we're also from Madison, so she decided to check into us, and she told Trent that night to watch us. And then after we got done, Trent kind of closed the door and told us to stay in the room. So I looked at Zach and I'm like, "What did you break?" Trouble. But then they asked us to volunteer, and I've been here for 2.5 years now.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So was it the building itself that attracted you, or did you like have like a kind of a notion of what was going on there?
Ever since I was little and would go by it, I actually had an aunt that used to bring us by here and try to scare us with it, but I always just wanted to go in, so it didn't scare me. But then once I was here, that was it. It just calls you back.
So what are you doing there right now? What is your role? As just kind of a mishmash of everything, or?
Pretty much, I'm a volunteer for flashlight tours, and I do the private hunts. That's why we're here now. I actually have a private going on right now.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's pretty much it. I do the tours and the privates and help clean and help whatever I can help with. I try to help with.
Make coffee.
Oh,
yes, I make coffee.
The best coffee.
Strong coffee.
Shelly's coffee is legendary. It's delicious. So let's go down to Amanda. How did you're involved with Fairfield Infirmary? Are you from the area? How did you get involved with the building?
So last year, my husband actually saw an ad on Facebook. It was to help out Habitat for Humanity. They were putting on like a haunted house, and it was to go towards funding building houses for homeless veterans. And my husband was in the Marine Corps. So like, this will be a cool way to meet some people and stuff like that. So, the haunted house ended last year and all that. And then we were back in February helping them move a bunch of their stuff out. And we ran into Adam. And we're like, hey, if you need any help with the building, because like this is completely new to us, like all the paranormal stuff, we had no idea what Adam even did, none of that. We didn't know what was going to happen with the building or anything. And we're just like, hey, we live nearby, like we love the building. Like actually, when we were done with the Habitat for Humanity stuff, we went through like a 2 solid week like depression, because we're like, oh my gosh, what if they just tear the building down? We don't know what's going to happen to it. Like we were devastated. And then when we ran into Adam, he's like, no, we're not going to tear it down. And then he explained a little bit about what he does. And then he has Madison Seminary, and we're like, oh, there's still hope. And he actually had us back out. Like COVID put like a whole weird damper on everything. Like we were going to come help out, like clean up and fix up and everything. But we like hunkered down for like months, But then when we had the first flashlight tour, he asked if we want to come out. We're like, heck yes, he didn't forget about us. Let's go in. So from that first flashlight tour on, like we've been given tours and we've been out for all the volunteer days and like pick up trash and stuff when we're around the building and all that stuff. And we're completely hooked. And then we did our first investigation with Adam and some of the crew and stuff. And a whole new world opened up, like it's insanity. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like we actually have cool stuff to do now. But the purpose that Adam brings to it, like renovating the building, saving the history, and then teaching so many more people about it and everything is just, it's so great. Like I am so glad that he has the building and we can be just even a small part of this. And then getting to see Madison Seminary a couple weeks ago for MadCon is like amazing because it's way more furnished and everything than Fairfield is. I mean, he's only had it several months, but to see like where it has been in the past and the potential that it has in the future, I'm stoked for it. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
She drank the Kool-Aid.
Yeah. She drank Kool-Aid.
I was just in the same room with it. I didn't even have to drink it.
Well, according to Addie down there, Madam says you're stuck. So I mean, even if you had the notion of leaving, that's not happening now. So just so you know.
No. I wasn't paid to say
that. We all feel it. We all know it's true. We all know it's true. So what about you, Kay? You're with you volunteer with the Hinsdale House, an amazing place that Dan has taken and just have done amazing work with it.
Yeah.
How did you get yourself involved and what is your role there?
So I actually started just doing going there for like the group tours and stuff, just like as part of the public. And I was going to a lot of different locations, but that place, as we all know, has a way of drawing you back to it. Mm-hmm. And I ended up being friends with Dan on Facebook, and I actually started talking to him about food because I made like some jambalaya or something. So our friendship actually grew from that. And then I started
jambalaya.
So I started doing the Crystal Ball event with him here in Jamestown, New York, which raised money for the Hinsdale House.
Okay.
And it's just kind of grown from there. So now I do the gardening for him, which is really super cool. It gives me a whole new meaning for being at the haunted locations. I did one for Madison too, so I'm so excited to see that one grow because that's going to be really pretty. So now I do the day tours, and they're going to be like a combination of day tours and flashlight tours. So it's going to be kind of cool.
How's the day tours been going? I see you've been doing a couple of them.
Yeah, they've been doing good. We started at the end of August. I think it was August 19th we started them, and we've done pretty well. So, I mean, it's not like widely advertised just yet because it was just kind of a thought because of COVID, funds and stuff aren't coming in like they were, going to be. So I kind of stepped up trying to help and like give a COVID friendly way of getting in those donations because the house does rely on those.
Right.
And then we ended up needing them too because the porch ended up deciding it needed to have some work done, and so so it came in handy. So I'm very happy I decided that.
Yeah, that's good. And that place, like when we were there, I mean, it was every half hour somebody stopped by just to take pictures of the building or stop and talk to whoever would listen. So I would think that hopefully the day tours will be good for you guys. It seems like the locals are all about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I just saw the one question about Nick Groff. Yes, he was just there last Friday. I was also there. I was very thankful to be able to join in, and that was incredible. Just working with him, he's very down to earth. So anytime you get to, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Sorry, I'm going through the comments.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Does anybody have any questions that you want us to start off on out there in the chat room?
Yeah, obviously. If you guys have any questions about any of these locations, feel free to ask. I'm interested, and Amanda, I'll start with you. Like, since you've been working with Fairfield, have you been doing any research and like learning more about the house or about the building?
Oh, yeah. So when we first went to the building, like I knew that in the past years it had been the health department for the state of Ohio. Other than that, I knew nothing about the building. Like I didn't know that there was any like possible hauntings, deaths, anything on the in the building, right? But when we started doing flashlight tours, like night one, man, I ran like the midnight tour. It was terrible. I'm much better at the tours now. But there's so much history on just like the first sheet that I was handed. I'm like, oh my gosh, holy crap. Like there's so much to learn. And I think I've been like with Addie's help, I've been through like 40 some articles like from 1800s and up. The building was built in 1828. So there's all these articles and so much reading and stuff, but everything is so like detailed and like just even being able to find records that long ago, and then the detail that they put in the newspapers and everything with it is crazy. And like I feel like we've just barely even scratched the surface with how much history there is with it, and there's a cemetery on the property and just everything. Like it's a gorgeous property, even its current state, like it needs some love, but I think most of these buildings do, but
yeah, right.
There's so much to learn. It's so exciting. A lot of it's sad, but there's some happy stories too.
Yeah, it seems to be. I mean, these old buildings, I always like refer to them as like living history books because they've been so many things. Like, I mean, I don't know about Fairfield. I haven't done my research there. That's coming up. I got to dig into that. But I mean, we've been investigating at Madison's. Bless you. What was that?
Jeff crawling back. I love it. I'll just take a slower route than just walking by.
Right.
You should do a little dance.
This is why we can't have nice things.
Yeah, you got a little smudge in the top corner there. But I've always referred to these buildings as like living history books. It's like pages and pages and chapters and chapters. Like I know, like I said, Madison, I just know from what I've learned, honestly, I'll be honest with you guys, for as long as we investigated there before Adam took over and you guys have been doing your research and sharing that with everybody, Mike and I didn't know shit about that place. We just knew that everyone wanted to go there locally to ghost hunt because somebody said it was haunted.
Oh my God,
I was waiting for him to start twerking.
This is the kind of show it's going to be tonight. I'm just going to chill
whole
out.
new show.
I apologize, children.
Shelly, how much have you and the Mad Crew, like, I mean, I know you guys have dug up so much and you've had there's been some headbutting, I guess, between you and the actual historical society about what has gone on in that building.
Yeah, it has. They try to say that there was never anything bad, but we know better. We've actually found articles that state some horrible things with the women prisoners that were here, that actually one of the superintendents was accused of doing some things with the women, and they said basically because where the women came from, it couldn't have been true. Was actually what the article stated. That's what the police officer said. That was his statement.
Yeah,
so
blind, small town.
Yeah.
Nothing ever happens.
And it's hard too because the historical society, when they talk about the building, they basically talk about 20 to 30 years of the history. There's a lot more to it. And we do admit that when the Women's Relief Corps ran the building, it was a good place. They do wonderful things, but there's a lot more to it and you can't deny it.
Right. Yeah, it's amazing to me that there's been so much. Like, you would think that the Historical Society itself would be, happy that there's a group trying to preserve this building. And you're actually you guys are going to Columbus to dig through their historical stacks to find the real facts.
Right.
But it's just amazing to me they want to cover up so much of it. And it's
and you would think that they'd be like, hey, you guys are digging into the history, let's work, we'll work with you and get it done together, because they actually, the lady from the Historical Society confronted me and told me that they have nothing on the building. And I said, I know it's really hard to find stuff. And she said, no, literally, we have nothing.
That's amazing.
Wouldn't you want to look into it more? Wouldn't you be excited to see the things that we're finding?
Why don't you just take them to her?
I know we should just drop it all off and here you go. Get your shit together.
Make some copies, index it, make it all look all nice.
Yeah, that's the sad thing about being in a small town like that. I grew up in a small town like that, right on the lake, almost probably the same, you know. And it's like the small town blindness. They're so small that they can't have anything bad happen in their town.
Right. But I mean, it's not like we're doing it still. Like it's fine. Everybody has a history.
They don't want that stigma, but that's what it's all about.
We know the truth. We know the truth.
I would take it to her and say, "You don't have anything? Here you go."
Yeah.
Yeah. Documented proof from Columbus, the state capital, of this history.
That we believed at first was even the Marysville prisoners, that they weren't supposed to be here until 1956. But I found articles that date them back to 1934.
Wow.
They were actually here a lot longer than what we thought they were.
Yeah.
It just wasn't called Opportunity Village at that time.
See, it's just like every time I talk to you guys, I learn something new.
Yeah.
it's crazy stuff. I love it. I mean, I love it to death. I think that's one of my. Go ahead,
I was going to say it was probably under a lot of pseudonames that I wonder if there's some that we don't even know about.
Yeah, because if you search for Madison Home, then you're only going to get what what happened while it was called that. So you have to search every single name that it's ever been.
And most of the stuff I find when I'm researching the superintendents, it'll take me off onto a different way. My mind goes crazy when it comes to research. I go here, I go there. It's like a rabbit hole every which way. And I really love that part. That is one thing I absolutely love is the history. So I really get into it. And we also just found out that one of the superintendent's wives in 1911 killed herself in the building. She shot herself through the heart.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How recently did you find that out? Because that's brand new.
I just found when everything happened with COVID and everything shut down. I wasn't working my other job or here. So I dove into research and found out that the second superintendent's Mr. Neal, his wife, actually committed suicide in the building.
Was that one in the bathrooms?
No, it was in her bedroom, which we believe is the room on the caretaker's wing.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's brand new information to me.
Right.
I'm going to have to add that to my notes now for when I do flashlights.
And it's actual newspaper article stating it. It's not something we think happened.
Yeah.
It's documented.
Now, has there been any talk at Madison or Fairfield really about, displaying this information?
We want to. I've started to print out like I did Blanche Jacobs. I did a little 8x10, just a small one for now to get the idea of how we want to do it. But yes, we do want to get all that printed out and displayed. I know a lot of teams don't like to see it all, so we don't want to put too much out there because it's kind of front loading. But we do want to we want to honor the ones we know for sure and what happened to them. So
yeah, that's really cool. And it would be nice to have on hand to confirm if somebody's having somebody has some evidence to okay, I got this name. Now can I look and see if this matches up with somebody?
Right. Exactly.
I thought they used to have a roster there when we first started going.
We do have that, and we have a book of experiences that Andrea actually put together a nice little history folder for us that sits on our table where you sign in and stuff. So people, when I have a team come in and say they don't really want the history tour, I'll point them to that book and say, well, if you have any questions, you can either ask me or there's that book you can look it up into. So
I had a couple. Actually, I wanted to talk to Kay real quick with kind of the same question, because I know Dan is constantly finding out new things, and we have a mutual friend.
It's better if you walk.
What are they doing?
I don't know.
Sorry, that's hilarious. We can see you guys.
Human centipede going on or something. What on earth?
I just said the same thing. You guys look like the human centipede.
Oh my gosh. Okay, have you
Kimmel.
I told him to behave.
That was a mistake. So, Kay, have you found yourself digging into research yourself and finding out some new things and working with Dan on things like that, or?
So for the day tours, what I've been trying to do is work with the information that we know for sure. You know, like it's more of a history tour that I give. So like I go,
Right.
the first thing is, you know, the house was built in 1853, and I try to stick to things that we know, and kind of give a little bit more of that. I know Dan is right now working to find a lot more with his new show that he's directing. I think it's Beyond the Shadows. Forgive me, Dan, if I got that one wrong.
Pretty sure that's right.
Yeah, decades. So I know he's doing a lot of digging with that. I do have information that I'm not allowed to give just yet because it's not out yet.
Fine.
But there's some
I'll figure
cool
it out by the end of the show.
There's some cool stuff that's definitely gonna come out. Hopefully within relative time, because I'm like bursting, you know. But
yeah.
But yeah, so he is doing quite a lot of work. He is gonna try to make the house actually more like a museum and paranormal base camp. So he's really working towards getting kind of that vibe to the house too a little bit.
That's really cool. Yeah, I've loved the work that he's done there, and the sweat and the blood I'm sure he's put into it. Because I've seen it. I saw it before he purchased it. The pictures from, you know, other friends of mine that had visited, you know, before it was legal. But yeah, I mean, it was on the verge of falling in on itself. I mean, the work he's done there is just amazing.
Yeah. It's a great place.
Yeah, he's done quite a lot. I started going there in like 2016, I believe is when I started, and just to see the like evolution of everything. I mean, just the fact that it has like a decent bathroom now is like, holy cow, I didn't even think this house was like capable of that, you know. So it's really cool to see how it's really evolved just in just a short amount of time too. But it's the house kind of brings in people that it knows will do the things that it needs, and everything's just really kind of fallen into place too. So he bought this place, and then everybody was like, here we are, let's do this, let's get it going. And that's really kind of a very big positive thing too. So with the house, I try to look at the positive things with it. I know everybody else is there for the big scary negative things, but I'm more focused on what I can bring to it that's positive, and the positive spirits that are there, because there's quite a lot of those too.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely felt positive presence when I was there. You know, I never felt the negative or the scary stuff, but you know, a lot of that I think was, you know, we were with a bigger group. It was pretty much our whole entire group was there.
Yeah.
Like all
the only time I felt was a little weird is when I walked down the driveway. That was the only like kind of little freaky thing.
Yeah. The land itself, I mean, even outside you walk around and you just feel crazy stuff. Just like crazy energy. It's wild.
Yeah.
But
speaking of wild, what new stuff do you have to tell us?
Never. If you ever come on the show again, never tell us there's something you can't tell us, because that'll be getting that information by the end of the show is going to become our main goal.
I'm good.
She's too strong. She's strong with the Force. Damn.
I am. So,
challenge accepted. I actually had a question. Sorry. It was a question from Holly. She wanted to know at Madison and Fairfield, is there ever a blackout time when they don't let people do privates?
No.
Like, do you ever close down?
Well, holidays like Christmas and stuff, but not really. Like no like long periods.
And I'm sure we're probably still trying to. I'm assuming it's going to be the same with Fairfield.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
What Shelley said.
A Black Friday special.
Right. So Joe had a kind of interesting question, and I'm going to read this, and hopefully I'm asking what he wants me to ask. What do you guys feel after the investigations? Like, when he does, it's like crazy days after. Like, you guys, when you're walking through the building, I guess, as a volunteer after an investigation, do you find there's any change in like the activity that you experience after somebody's been in there? Like, can you feel that it's amped up, or has it died off a little bit? Does it get quieter?
I think it depends on like the groups and stuff that come through. Like there's been times where certain private tours will come through. Like the other night we had a group of 9 women that came in and just scared the crap out of each other for several hours and then they left. But the team that came in the next night, like even just walking them through, like it felt magnetic, and the atmosphere, like, which was very different than the previous tour and stuff like that. And then flashlight tours, I just know that if you take the first flashlight tour, it's pretty simple. You wait till the midnight tour and it's kind of like, I should have not done the midnight tour. Like it gets super creepy.
Yeah. What about you, Shelly? About up in Madison? Did you ever notice a difference?
The same. I was going to say the same thing. That it depends what group's in there. And it depends on the day, really. Some days I walk into that building to open up and I don't want to open it up. Then other days it's fine. And that's the same thing when I close it at night. Sometimes you could just feel the energy still, and then other times it's just silent, and it's like they went home for the night or something.
Yeah. Yeah, Tony. It looks like Tony said he kind of agrees with that.
Madison on a basis.
Yeah, it does. That building is amazing with misdirection.
Yeah.
And just
you could literally go to one floor, wait 10 minutes, go back, and it's a totally different energy.
Yeah, exactly. It's insane. From what I've heard, Fairfield is kind of the same way. It's just, but I can't wait to get down there. I still haven't been down there yet. I got to get down there soon. I got to get down there.
Come on. What are you waiting for?
I don't know. my kids to stop playing softball and band and all that kind of stuff.
He's probably waiting for me to drive them there.
Yeah. Waiting for the drive so I could take a nap.
We got to go soon. We'll go soon.
Yeah.
As soon as they have another volunteer day, man, we owe Adam a lot.
Yep.
A lot more.
Yeah, we owe him big time. What about you, Kate? Do you ever notice a difference after an investigation when you're in there doing whatever you're doing that day?
Sometimes, but usually it's more like before the investigation, and I'll actually feel it. So I live in Jamestown, so it's about an hour and 10 minutes away from the house. And because of my connection to the house, like I'll feel it when, like, if Dan's done some remodeling and I haven't heard about it yet, I'll know that something's changed there before, like, I get there. And it's not, I don't really think it's like the psychic abilities or anything. It's just the house kind of like, you get the feeling of the house, and it calls you back that way too. So when I get there, like last week, he had just cut down like all the like shrubs and everything that were there. He just cut it all down. And so I knew something was there, and I told my husband, because he drives me out there and drops me off and leaves me there like a crazy person. And
just hear him tear it out, peeling off.
So I told him, I'm like, something's changed there. And it's not that the spirits there don't like that sort of thing. It's just that it's kind of like if you walked in on somebody like doing your dishes that you didn't know, you'd be like, whoa, what the heck's going on? And then you find out, oh, it's just them doing dishes. That's fine. Let them do it, So it's kind of that initial shock that I guess I kind of pick up on. And so when I got there and I saw it, I was like, yep, that's what they're talking about. Somebody mowed down their yard, but as soon as they figured out that it was just that, they were like okay with it. So I don't know if that really answers the question or not.
It's okay. It's fun.
I think it does.
It's like, it's fine.
Yeah.
I just want to say, Dustin, I didn't mean like actually physically getting lost at Madison.
Right.
I meant the activity is like, it's crazy how it's like misdirecting. You go into a room because you heard voices in that room, or you saw a shadow head in that room. You go in there, there's nothing. 5 minutes later, you're hearing the same or seeing the same thing in a room 2 doors down in the same hallway. That's what I meant by misdirection.
It doesn't get lost at Madison, I promise.
Right.
I don't know. I get lost in my own house sometimes.
I don't know. I have heard that Fairfield is a bit of a maze, though, to get through.
Yeah, like once you're used to it, it makes sense. But coming in like the first couple times, like the first tour I did, I got the floors mixed up because the second and third floors look almost identical.
Yeah.
It's not until you like try to go out the fire escape or think you're going out the front door or whatever, and it's like I'm on the third floor, not the second floor or whatever. Like it gets you messed up.
Hey, Brian.
Got Brian from Bearded Paranormal. What's up, buddy?
Holly's got a question.
Holly Minor.
Yes,
Has Fairfield
we
opened up
have.
for private investigations?
Yep.
Cool. There was a good question. I can ask this of all of you. How has post-COVID affected like the tours and the investigations? Shelly, is there like anything special? Like, what are you guys doing now differently that you have to do because of COVID than you did before?
Was that to me?
Yeah, Shelly. Shelly.
I mean, I could answer it, but I don't know. I don't really know the answer.
Well, we had to limit flashlights. Flashlights used to be 20 people. We have to limit that to 10 and under.
A lot of cleaning. A lot of freaking hand
masks,
sanitizer.
hand
Ruining the
sanitizer.
furniture.
Yes, the people let it just drip and then it goes all over the
The
nice
antique
furniture.
Uh,
Oh
Yeah.
no.
I'll put paper towels underneath it. People don't understand what that's there for.
what about down in Fairfield? I'm gonna guess it's probably the same thing everywhere. A lot of cleaning.
Yeah, cleaning, masks, hand sanitizer, all that. I mean, we weren't open for tours before COVID, so when
that's true.
COVID
Yeah.
is gone and old news, if that ever happens, like I hear that the tours get to 20 people. Like we've only had 10 people tours, stuff like that. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I bet. Like what was going on when COVID started is it's better now because you actually got stuff going on.
Right.
Yeah, COVID's their reality. That's all they know.
Yeah, yeah. What about you guys, Kay, at Hinsdale? I mean, are you guys limiting things, cutting things off at a certain amount of people, or?
Yeah, so we've been limiting it to the 10 people, social distancing, wearing the masks, and I got this fancy mask right here.
Nice.
That's
Oh, cool.
I like that.
Yeah,
Where's
So,
Kimmel? Something like that.
I get to be styling and profiling with that.
That's
No,
cool.
that crap.
Right.
What'd you say, Shelly?
Nothing. Forgot I was online.
Dustin said, "Oh, it's all
Did
party
Jeff
back
fall
behind
out of
you."
his chair?
Looks like it. Dustin says, "Y'all need help me convince my wife we need to move to Ohio." Uh-oh. Whoa.
Sorry, dog's here.
Oh, okay. I was playing the game trying to figure out where it was coming from.
Yeah, that was not.
I got Rob saying, "What's up, fellas and ladies?" Rob Yox from Full Spectrum Universe in the house. Great show so far. Thank you, Rob. Yeah, if you guys have any more questions, feel free to ask. So Shelly, what's been like since you've been volunteering there? What's been your like craziest, scariest experience? Well, we lost Heisenberg. That's all right.
He was my scariest experience.
There he is. He's back. That was pretty scary.
That's always a tough question for me.
Because she doesn't get scared.
I do. I just don't get terrified, scared. To me, the scaredness is part of it, and it's the adrenaline that. So I enjoy getting scared like that. That's different. You can't take me to like a Halloween haunted house where people jump out at you.
Yeah.
That I don't like. But when I see a spirit walking towards me, I'm like, holy crap, this is happening right now. So
yeah.
I would have to say probably the scariest thing though that happened was when I was in the asylum and lost control of my emotions. Because then I wasn't in control. So that was a whole different ball game for me. So that was probably I would have to say probably was the most terrifying moment. And Kathy Santori was actually there for that, and Andrea, and they all witnessed it. And it was just weird because it was like I could hear myself say the things I was saying.
Yeah.
I couldn't stop it from coming out.
Yeah. I've had similar experiences in the same area of Madison Seminary, and I've seen other people have the same. It's a crazy area. I don't I don't understand what it is that I mean. I don't. Maybe I left myself too open. I was not protecting, not blocking things, but it happened, and it's that I don't like that feeling. I love investigating and trying to communicate with spirit, but I don't like it when they try to use me to communicate.
Right.
It's not a great thing. Um, like goose freezing indoor. Yeah, that happened in the asylum. I was like looking into that corner room at Madison Seminary, and I was seeing like all these like sparkly lights falling from the ceiling. It was ridiculous, crazy, and I got like stuck like in a trance. I couldn't move. They had to like physically pull me from the door. Like I was trying to walk in, and I saw like a hand come. It was just nuts, crazy stuff.
One of these days, it's going to happen when I'm there, and you know what's going to happen.
You're gonna slap the shit out of me. I know.
Yeah,
You keep promising me. You
it's
keep
going to
promising
happen one
me.
day. But it never happens when I'm there.
I know, right? Because you got my six, man. And like every time I'm there, you know when I'm about to get to that point,
That's true.
and you're like, it's time to get them out. Yeah. What about you, Kay? Have you had like any like crazy like negative, scary experiences at Hinsdale?
I mean, I definitely had a crazy experience, but it wasn't like it didn't scare me. The house is very, very protective of me, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
It's very much like that overprotective parent type of feeling. And I went to the Conjuring house over the summer, and it didn't like me being there. Even my mom picked up that the house didn't like me being there. And she actually called me during the investigation at the Conjuring house. She's like, "You're not supposed to be there. The house doesn't like you there." And so I was at the house doing a day tour, and I was all by I was there with another volunteer. So we were the only two in the house. And I was talking about the Conjuring house. And the door, the back door was all locked. It has that gate and everything on the back, for security and all that. And it has one of those big giant bolt locks on it. All of it was locked because I have no reason to go out the door. So why go through all the hassle of unlocking all of that? Well, it must have unlocked it all without us noticing. We were in the living room. And then it slammed it open. And it just like shook the whole house. And being the desensitized investigator that I am, we just walked into the kitchen, shut it, and said, okay, locked it back up and everything. But it had to have been a lot of power. I tried to debunk it, saying, well, maybe it was the wind, but even if it was the wind, it would have had to go through that gate, which would have dissipated it. I don't have an explanation for it, like unlocking all the locks to do it in the first place. So
yeah,
that would have been pretty scary for others. So I think.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Well,
That would have freaked me out.
Speaking of locks, what new information do you have for us?
Speaking of unlocking things,
What do you got for us?
What about you, Amanda?
Our lips are sealed.
Yeah. We'll get there.
Oh gosh. I'm still so new at this. Like there's definitely days where like I have no problem going in the building, going through it from top to bottom on my own. But then the next day it's like I barely get the door unlocked. I'm like, I'm gonna wait for the tour outside. Like the tour tonight, they're like, why are you waiting outside? I'm like, because I'm the only one here and it creeped me out today. Like there are definitely times where I feel like somebody's like following me, or it sounds like somebody's coming down the stairs after me. I'm probably like one of the worst people out. Like my husband, if he was here tonight, like he's had all kinds of things. Like he's heard things, he's seen things, all kinds of stuff. I don't know if I'm still just so closed down because I'm new to this. Like Terry was on here, Geringer and her daughter Julie.
Yeah.
They caught my first ghost investigation on camera, and it was the funniest video I've ever seen in my life. I'm not 3 minutes in the video, and I've got tears streaming down my face because I'm laughing at myself so hard. So I'm still very, very green at this, but I'm hoping to get more experience with it and try to let my barriers down a little bit, and see some more stuff, experience some more stuff. I just know that there are certain days that it's like, I'm not going in there by
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, a good segue to Andrea. Mama Roof had a question. She was wondering if there's ever been a day where you had to like force yourself to go in. Like you just get to the front door, you're feeling some crazy shit, and you're like, okay, I got to do this. Shelly, how about you? Have you felt that before?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've actually called Addie and told her to watch me on the cameras as I go through because I was freaked out. That happened one time. It was after Ghost Hunters was here right after that.
Maybe.
Yeah, it got really creepy in the building, like bad.
Yeah.
I told her, I'm like, what's going on with the building? Can you just watch the cameras, make sure I'm good as I walk through?
Oh my gosh. Well, okay, have you ever had that experience? It doesn't seem like you would have that from what you've told us so far.
No, not really. I've seen other people not want to go in the house. But no, I've always felt very welcome. I also, though, because of what I do for the house, I have a different like relationship with it. Like I know it's like a mutual, okay, I'll do this, you do this. We don't cross the line type of thing, you know? And it's not that I'm not like cautious, because I am. I do, you know, I'll do my protection stuff. Every time I leave, I do smudge and I say, hey, you got to stay here. Because I know if it likes me this much, it will come with me. Like, and I have to say no. Like, and Doug laughs at me because we'll be in the Jeep and a fly will be in there. And I'm like, go home, Hinsdale, you know, go home. So, so it's not that I'm not cautious, but it just, I've never had that vibe. I've always felt very welcome. And like, a lot of people will say, you know, like the house loves me because of the work that I do for it. Every time I'm there, I give an offering to the spirits of sweetgrass, Palo Santo, and sage. And I just recently added tobacco to it, ceremonial tobacco. So I always give something to the house. And that's every single time I'm there. So it's at least once a week now.
Wow. That's awesome. That's really cool. What about you, Amanda? Any troubles walking into the building when you're down there?
Just certain days. Like I said, there are days that I can go through the whole building on my own. And then other days it's like I don't want to walk through the way. Like I get the door unlocked and that's about as far as I'm going. Like I don't ever feel like I've been followed home or anything. Like I'm not creeped out leaving the property. It's just in the building. Certain days it's like, hey, come on in. We remember you. And other days it's like, mm-mm.
Yeah, actually, Holly, one of the watchers here, actually asked the question: has anything ever followed you home? Has that ever happened to you, Amanda?
If it did, I had no idea. It might still be here.
Probably good. What about you, Shelly, or even Denise? Has that ever happened to you up at Madison? Is anything?
No, I had the 7-foot tall man follow me to work, but I brought him back right after work.
Oh, yeah. You gave him a ride home.
Yeah,
That was great. It was great.
Just go and walk down there, man. Walk your ass back.
I'm gonna stop by after work because I got something I got to bring back. That was it. That was the only time.
You open your back seat for nothing, and you're just like, "Yeah, don't mind me."
Get in your car.
What about you, Shelly?
There's been a couple times, yes. I saw actually a woman in my bedroom one night. There was one night I was driving home, and I'm not sure exactly what that was. Kimmel can actually verify this one. I had to call him at like 1:30 in the morning, 2:30 in the morning after I came home after flashlights. Yeah. When you leave Madison, you make a right, and there's a red light. When I used to live right here on Middle Ridge too. And I was going home. As soon as I crossed over that light, there was a big bang on the top of my car. And it was so hard that I actually like jerked down because I thought something fell, like a tree or something hit my car. I stopped in the middle of the road, checked everything. There was nothing, no scratches, no branches, nothing. I got home. I was shaking. I called Kimmel. I'm like, Kimmel, I'm sorry to call you so late, but I don't know what just happened. I don't know if that was something trying to follow me and then they weren't able to. I don't know what it was, but it was like this huge bang on the top of my car. It was scary.
Oh my gosh.
What
about you, Mike? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I get there's a lot of people that follow me home from Madison.
The ladies
Yeah.
love him.
Yeah.
I had to look it up because it's always the old ladies that follow him home.
Yep, that's my demographic. Dead old
Where you
ladies.
going, Michael? Where you going?
But I always am afraid to like look in my rearview mirror.
Yes.
On the way home.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
I'll probably crash my truck if there's something in there. I'll put that sucker in the lake.
I have a backup cam now, and when I back out of here at night, I'm like, please don't let me see anything.
I can't look at my backup cam when I leave because I'm scared that I'm going to see something in it. Oh gosh.
That's funny. There was one night I was coming home from Madison, and I swear to God, there was somebody in the back seat kicking the back of my seat. I kept feeling like somebody was like pushing on the back. And like I got off on the next exit and I pulled in to a gas station. I like walked around back. I opened the door. I'm like, go. Like, I'll stop back here next time I'm up this way and I'll take you the rest of the way, but I gotta go home.
I'll pick you up in a little bit.
Right. It was a little bit freaky, and it was kind of funny though, because it was like maybe a month or two after I had taken my kids up for just like a daytime walkthrough, and I was picking on them, kind of like making them feel like we brought something home, just playing a game with them, and they thought it was funny, but I'm like, who's pushing the back of my seat? And Eliza's in the back seat on the opposite side, and she's like, what's going on? I'm like, somebody's kicking the back of my seat. You need to stop it. She's like, it's not me, Daddy. So they're all freaking out, right?
I can't wait to do it to mine.
Character.
I got my comeuppance. Somebody had a question. Sorry, got off on that tangent. Is there a minimum? Is there a minimum? I can't even say it now. Denise, just read it, please. Go ahead.
Is there a minimum number of people required for a private investigation?
Is there a minimum for an investigation at Madison, or is it just like?
No.
How about Hinsdale? No.
No, I don't think so.
Fairfield? No.
Nope.
No.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, I know Adams was like at a solid price, and whoever, as long as that price is met, whoever shows up, shows up.
Yep.
I can give you one person.
With two people. I don't think I've done one person yet. Shut up.
That's not what I was saying.
Wait, did I just hear what I thought I heard?
12-year-olds.
Oh, this is where it gets weird.
Two people all the time.
All the
People show up.
time.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. I couldn't do it.
She always is like, they're so brave.
Yeah.
Only two people? Oh gosh.
That's cool though. I mean, to have that option, not to have feel like you have to have a big group.
Right.
It's nice to be able to go to some of these places with a smaller, just a couple people. You know, and I know
places have minimums.
Minimums. I think it's like a base price, but they have a maximum number, and usually if it's over that maximum number, it's like another $20 a person.
Right.
But I mean, it's what I like about the way Adam and I know Daniel's prices for investigating Hinsdale are really decent.
Yeah.
Some of these places just charge you like so much money. I mean, it's just crazy.
Yeah,
I mean,
like you get into some are like 1,000 and stuff. It's like, who could get this?
Yeah, and you almost need to have like the 25-person group to be able to afford it.
Right.
But yeah, she wanted to know if there was a minimum, and I know like at Madison and Fairfield, you just pay whatever the fee is, and whatever group shows up is who shows up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it is at Hinsdale too.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
This is a good question for Shelley. What's the price for Madison and Fairfield?
Sunday through Thursday is $300 for up to 10 people. Anybody over $10 or over 10 people is $30 per person after that. Then the weekends, Friday and Saturday, are $500. And again, up to 10 people, anybody over that's $50 per person. Save for Fairfield.
I mean, this is like, yeah.
And you only have to pay the security deposit, half of it, at the time of booking, and then you can bring the rest with you that day, or you can pay in full, whichever you want to do.
Yeah, that's pretty good price.
Yeah, that's actually he said you pay that price. Dustin was talking about another location. I'll put that back up there. $500 to investigate one night at Yorktown Memorial down there. He said it's outrageous because they don't put any money back into the building. And I know Adam and Daniel, that's not something that they do.
Right.
They put money back in.
You know, yeah. I mean, it seems like just watching what Adam does. There's constantly. I mean, I know Jeff's there working on stuff, upgrading some things, and he was just in Fairfield.
Right.
They're constantly working, and that money comes from somewhere, and it's these tours and everything that have this constant cash flow, and I know working with them that goes right back into the building.
Right.
Okay, I know Daniel's the same way. I mean, there's always like major projects going on. You know, I mean, you just got to follow these locations on their Facebooks and whatever else social media, because they're constantly posting all this crazy stuff that they're going through.
Yeah, I love having guests who haven't been here in a while, and then they come back and they say, "Oh my gosh, you've done so much since I was here last."
Yeah,
you know, it's so nice.
Yeah, and I mean, it's you know, maybe a couple months in between the times that I can go to Madison. And even in that small amount of time, there's always something that's changed dramatically.
Yeah.
Like there's always something that's been added or furniture that's been moved into a different area. And it's just, it's cool. It's almost like coming to a new building every time.
Yeah, I love it.
It just gets better and better. I have only been to Hinsdale once, Kay. There will be multiple more times that I come.
Yeah, I definitely need to go back.
Yeah, we got to go back. We got to go back.
Because from what I hear, every time you go back, something else happens.
We're coming back.
There's definitely there's something there for everybody. We've got the elementals, we've got cryptids, we've got UFOs, we've got ghosts, we got it all. So
now, is cryptid something, Kay, that you're interested in? Is like, have you taken a hike around? Have you seen anything, witnessed anything?
So with the we have a Pukwudgie on the property there, because of the native spirits, and they're known to be a shapeshifter. I actually believe I saw him in the house, because their favorite things to shape into is a porcupine or a cat. And when I was upstairs in the main bedroom there, facing the stairs, so towards Laura's room, I swear I saw a cat go up and into Laura's room, and I didn't think spirit cat or anything. I just thought, there's a cat. It's a country, like chipmunks and stuff wandering. Why can't a cat, you know? So me being the animal lover I am, I just thought, there's an animal, let's go see it, you know? And everybody that I was with kind of denied that there was a cat, living or dead. And so I investigated, no cat. So I dropped it, and we went on for a little bit. And when we turned our flashlights back on to go back downstairs, in the middle of the doorways was one of those little like felt mice things. Yeah. That we would have kicked coming in. So that was like the weirdest validation of it. I mean, the property was known to have cats in its history, you know, like during the Dandy family and all that. But it's also possible that it was this Pukwudgie, and maybe it's shown itself to me because of my native background and the native offerings that I give. So there's a little bit of a connection there, you know. So that is the only thing that I've had, besides seeing like the spook lights and things like that. I have not seen the UFOs, but I have heard many people have. So they're just not looking for me.
One of the most, I mean, besides the house and the work that's been put into it and the history and everything else, one of the other things that was just a big, one of the things that I remember the most is staring at the sky when we were there.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Because
beautiful.
You could see every star, every constellation.
Right.
It just happened to be there was a meteor shower that night. So we were out there watching the meteor. I mean, it was like, I could totally see why that would be a great location for some UFO spotting.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously. Because you're kind of like up on the mountain or hill or whatever you want to call it. Right. You're away from everything. There's no really outside lights. You're away from the city. And it's just open sky as far as you can see. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So,
I was told too, I don't know how true it is, don't quote me on it, but I've been told by several people that where the pond is located is kind of on 2 ley lines too, so that's known
Oh,
to
wow.
ramp up paranormal stuff too. So I haven't looked at a map of ley lines, but I've had multiple people come in and tell me this, that they've done the research and done it. So I'm taking them at their word for it.
Yeah.
But that would make sense because of the amount of paranormal stuff that we've got going on there.
Right.
yeah, I mean, you got the whole gamut of cryptids, UFOs, spirits.
Mhm.
And one thing I wanted to ask you, what is the background story to the offering tree? Because that was the one location where we witnessed something that I found very interesting right when we got there. It's like that's the first place we went to outside. And after we walked up there, there's one single feather that was spinning. It was
Mhm.
kind of a breezy day, and we were trying to feel like that, like the wind motion through the woods there, and it was breezy enough. All those feathers should have been fluttering a little bit, but it was just one single thing,
Mhm.
just spinning
That's-
like a helicopter.
I
Yeah,
even
that's
stepped
quite-
in front of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite common to see that up there. So I believe it was started by Amy Perry Lane of Paranormal Expeditions.
Mhm.
She's a psychic medium, and she was drawn to doing like an offering for the spirits up there, for the native spirits. And so she originated it, but it's taken off. So many people are trying to bring positivity to this place that they gave offerings as well.
Mhm.
But the reason she wanted to is because of the native spirits that are up there on the hill. We hear the native flutes, the native drums. I'll
Wow.
speak in Seneca and I'll get a lot of K2 hits, or
Yeah.
I'll get, sometimes I'll catch a couple of like EVPs that they're not really like audible, so you can't really understand what they're what they're saying. But I do get quite a lot more activity with it there. And that's why I do the offerings and stuff myself. But that's how that kind of started, and it's just I think it's a really beautiful thing. She was drawn to that
Yeah.
tree though for a reason. So there's something with it that must have hold some sort of meaning historically. I don't know if maybe somebody fell there. Because the story is that there was a couple of smaller native tribes, not Seneca, that had a battle up there, and so a lot of natives fell. And that's why the Pukwudgie is there, because Pukwudgies look after native graves. They're
Okay.
protectors of native spirits. So they're actually not something you want to come in contact with because they can be
Right.
quite mean.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the story. Maybe the Pukwudgie, actually, maybe this tree is kind of like a portal for him to come in and out. So
That's an interesting theory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's definitely quite a lot of energy there.
Yeah, for sure. It was interesting because we're just standing there watching this one feather. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, we're just staring at a feather, but it's this spinning nonstop. And,
Right.
Mhm.
it was mesmerizing. It was almost like we were getting it like in this like weird trance state, just watching this single feather spin.
Mhm.
It was pretty cool.
Mhm.
Let's see, making sure I'm not missing any questions here. Casey Boatwright from Gateway Paranormal said their trailer's almost done.
Yay.
They were filming in Canada. At an undisclosed location called
Yeah.
Fairfield Infirmary.
Uh,
Really cool. We can't wait to see that, Casey. It's going to be totally awesome.
Yep.
So have you guys had any bad experiences with paranormal investigators, tour guests? I mean, how have you handled that? I'm looking at you, Shelly.
I have machetes.
There it is.
I have 2 of them. Meatball and spaghetti. We've been lucky, I guess. We've had a few incidences only once where we had to call the police, and that was just because somebody came intoxicated and continued to drink even after we asked them not to. And that was actually for a public hunt.
I mean,
You get the occasional drive-byers who pull in and pull out. I mean, them I like to talk to see what they're here for.
Yeah.
I mean, we get people who are a little condescending or, non-believers and will give you a hard time. But you know, we can handle them.
To me, that's a challenge. I
Yeah.
like that because I want to prove them wrong.
Yeah.
So when it comes to paranormal, I love skeptics. They're my favorite because I still am. I believe in all this stuff, but I have to debunk it. I have to know.
Yeah.
Even when I give my tours, I tell people what we've already debunked so that they are not having that same experience and thinking it's paranormal when it's not.
Now I know because we witnessed this at Hinsdale. There's always somebody pulling in that driveway to take pictures or
Right.
Too.
Just shake the broom at them.
Well, actually, one of our investigators had like one of those really bright, like tactical flashlights that like shines the whole like neighborhood up when it turns on.
Yeah.
So we had somebody pull in, and you can see them taking snapshots with their cell phone or a camera. So he just pointed it out and like started shining it right at them, pulsing, and they hightailed it out of there. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
But I mean, we were standing out there, you know, taking a break, staring at the sky again because it was just beautiful and just like so relaxing.
Yeah.
These people pulled in and they're like, "Hey, you guys, watch out for the Sasquatch." I'm like, where you guys coming from? Like, I mean, just how often are you like having to like check the property, like security? I mean, is it an issue up there, or is it just people just driving by and taking pictures?
So I'm sure you've seen like in the pictures and stuff. Dan's got the cages and stuff on the windows because we've had people come up and bust up the windows. We have people stop in all the time, and that's why we actually started the day tours. So I'm there once a week, and I can kind of catch them, you know, and say, hey, if you want to actually check out the property, $10. I'll walk you around, and you know, you'll get to see it, and you know, not just be trespassing. But I've had a lot of people, you know, I had this one lady actually, she told me that she was thinking about parking her camper down by the pond, and I'm like, no, no, you're not gonna do that, you know.
Go to a campground.
So yeah, we get a lot of characters that come in, but I am able to now, you know, the people that actually do want to know the history and actually take a look. I've gotten quite a few people to come back because of them driving down to see it. You know, it's been on multiple TV, you know, shows and everything now, and so a lot of people are very interested. And so yeah, it gets a lot of attention.
It was just crazy to me because, like, you know, we're on a pretty busy road here, you know, so, and it's the biggest building in town. So yeah, people are going to stop by, you know, but when we were at Hinsdale, seriously, it was like every half hour, and you guys are in the middle of nowhere. Right. Like people had to drive way out of their way to get there.
And they'd be like, ooh, we just decided to stop by.
Right. You know,
landed.
I just thought it was crazy, but it was funny because one of the people we were there with, Darlene, was actually stopping people. You know, people just get out of their car. Like Madison, they'll just drive and get out, but like drive away. But like Hinsdale, they get out of their car, they're taking pictures, whatever. So Darlene's walking up to people going, oh, do you want to know the history? I'll tell you. And she's telling people that would stop by. It was that's why I was glad you guys were doing the day tours, because I know you're going to get business from it. I mean, Darlene was doing day tours, little mini day tours when we were there.
From the outside.
It was.
I was as shocked as you guys were that many people were driving up there at night.
Right?
I mean, it was.
Yeah, a lot of people are very interested. I mean, there's because of the woods and everything in the back there too.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people are very interested in going up in there and doing like hiking and things like that. And so it has quite the attraction to it. And, you know, it's quite possible, you know, because of the, you know, if the ley lines are actually there, that's kind of a magnet for living things too. So it could be kind of bringing them in that way too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've not ever ran into anybody that was like.
Yes, that's Kimmel in the background.
I haven't run into anybody that was aggressive or, you know, demanding to see the place or anything like that. So usually you say anything about money and they're right out of there. So.
Like, oh, never mind.
Right.
Yes, and Uncle Jeff and Savage.
Everybody's there. What about you, Amanda? I know you've just started this thing down there. Have you run any interesting characters? Any interesting run-ins with anybody?
Nothing too crazy. Like there's usually somebody driving by there's one car that drives by, I guess, with like their dog, and they do it almost daily or something, like just to drive around the building and check it out, whatever. There's been a couple drive-bys and stuff like that. My worst experience was the very first tour I took. Because one, I was terrified. I didn't know the material or anything. Which it's bound to be a disaster, right? It was, I think it was the midnight tour too. So I don't know what Addie was trying to do to me, but I'm like, sure, I'll take a tour. Why not? Yeah, so it went about as well as expected. Adam didn't fire me though, so no, I had a guy on that first tour that, he making all these comments, and I just had to ignore him because I'm like, I just got to get through the material. Like, he paid. I got to get him through the building. And, he's making all these comments like, this is what we get for going the first night. And clearly, she doesn't know what she's doing. Like, one guy asked me if the toilet seats were original. Yeah, it was terrible. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. I'm like, I'm never going to get through another tour again. The April was there. And I was just like almost like melting down. I'm like, that was the worst thing I've ever done in my life, because I had these people, I'm like, is this how every tour is? Like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
But April, Mike, they talked me through it. And like the next day I took a tour and it went a million times better. And now I'm like a semi-pro.
There you go. Yeah. Take a page out of Heisenberg's book. If you don't know what's there, just tell them it's storage.
Yeah.
Right? Every room is storage.
Yeah,
this stuff in every room.
That room's
put a desk in there.
That room's
storage.
What's in this room that we can't open? Oh, it's storage. Storage.
Well, I tell them that's where we put all the bad people that are on the tour.
I'm being told Heisenberg has an uncanny resemblance to Tony Rodriguez.
All right.
Had to put that up there. I think when we were doing tours, the most interesting tour we took was basically the whole Perry football team that we got stuck with. The entire Perry football team, and I think all their girlfriends in the cheerleading squad. I don't know. It was a huge group.
I got to take like the cops that came one time. All they did was jump out at each other. So I was like, go ahead.
And they're supposed to be the adults, right?
Right. And they had their guns, so I wasn't going to tell them to stop.
Right? Let them do what they want, Heisenberg.
I did have one lady tell me that I did have one older lady tell me that she was not there for the ghost stories and she just wants to learn the history.
Oh.
So I'm like, well, okay, that's cool. So you come with me. The rest of the tour can go with Heisenberg. And I'm flipping because I have the word document on my phone, making sure I'm not missing anything on any floor. I'm constantly checking the reference book on my phone because I'm good with the stories, like the who's and what's, but the dates, forget it.
Oh, I don't even say
they're awful.
Yeah.
I don't even say that's it.
What date you want to know?
Yeah. Shelly knows them all. I don't say any dates ever.
A long time ago, in a galaxy right here, Medicine was built, and it was a school and some stuff.
47. That's it. Okay. That's it.
And some storage.
Right.
Maybe
That's
lots of storage.
Every room is storage.
We just store artifacts, architectural artifacts in here.
That's what I tell them.
Right.
Look.
What?
Frick.
I'll have to Google it.
Me too.
Have you heard that before, Heisenberg?
No, but I'm a secret space program.
We know.
Oh my gosh. I'm making sure I'm not missing anything.
Nope, just a lot of shit talking about Kimmel.
Yeah. He's back there trying to hide behind his jacket collar.
Wrong way.
Yeah. Is it up?
There it is.
There he is.
I have his
Rock and roll, buddy.
I don't need to see him. Nothing to see here. I keep going the wrong way though.
So what is what is Heisenberg? My gosh, Hinsdale. Deh. Heisenberg riding rockets again. Yeah, Dave. What does Hinsdale got coming up that we should be watching out for? Any interesting events or any more, just the day tours or anybody filming there, or what? We probably aren't allowed to know that, right?
So I know that Amy Perry Lane has started to do, I think their 3-hour investigation or 3-hour tours on Sundays. And then my day tours will run until August 26th, I believe. The 14th is the next one coming up next Wednesday.
Awesome.
Yep. And
Very
it's
cool.
they're now 1 to 8 because they're split. Some of them are flashlight tours, some of them are daytime.
Awesome.
Oh,
Now, is
cool.
it the tours? Are they just in the house, or are they like around the whole property? I mean, you
Whole
probably take
property.
them. Wow, that's really
Yep.
cool.
Yep, and we're actually looking in the woods to like create more of a trail so that we can actually do more of the property.
That's
So
really cool.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
And I gotta tell you, I haven't. The last time I was there was the first time I was there. I could tell you the steps were nice to have.
Yeah.
There were steps up to the offering tree and the wooded area, and I know from just pictures and hearing that it was a pretty steep hill to try to climb up. So
Well,
for those of us with bad
like-
knees, those of us with bad knees, thank you.
Yeah, those are nice. Those also hold a little bit of energy of their own too, because they're old railroad ties. So
Oh, wow.
so those are all, they hold that energy. So it's kind of cool to feel that too as you're walking there and working with them.
Were they originally from the property that he just repurposed, or?
I don't think so. No, I think he had them brought in.
Oh,
So,
wow.
Yep. He
That's
he
real
did
cool.
that. Yeah, for restoration, like he's done quite a lot just in a short amount of time. I think he did those at the beginning of the year, I think.
Okay.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And then the driveway, the porch,
The dock
Just-
on the pond. Didn't you
yep,
just
the
do
dock
that
on the
too?
pond. So yeah,
Okay,
I love
That is awesome.
Yeah, I love sitting out there. I'll be having like my Crosby sandwich waiting for tours to start. Like
Yeah.
just sitting on the pond. Like it's so peaceful. I'm like in my Zen area, So. Mhm.
That's beautiful.
Do any fishing in the pond?
I don't-
wanted to.
There
I
are
know, right?
fish. There are fish, but no, I'm not getting in the pond. Mm-mm. That's the one. People want in the water, they can
Yeah.
go, but no, there's trout and all sorts of fish in there. So
Oh, really
yep, it
cool.
is spring fed, so it is
Okay.
constantly moving in there. So
Oh,
Gotcha. That's good to know.
That's cool.
The property up there is just so beautiful. I mean, it was relaxing. Besides, the fact that it's haunted, and yes, there's the spooky parts to it.
Right?
And we were outside. It's like I didn't want to go in because I was just like staring at the sky.
I know. We lit a fire.
Yeah.
And then we were sitting by the fire, and I'm like, man, I don't want to do anything else now. This is so nice.
Yeah.
mhm. Right now with all the fall leaves and everything, I'm just like mesmerized the whole time,
Yeah.
and I'll be
Yeah.
like, you guys can take photos, and they're like, no, they're just like, shocked,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
kind of like staring. So yeah, I try to push it more for the experience and stuff, take the photos, take a series of 3 so you can debunk things, and kind of walk them. But for the flashlight tours, I do loan out my K2 meters and stuff, and like, here, let's go have some fun, so it's a little bit
Cool.
more flashlight tours.
Nice.
That's cool.
That's
Are
fun
those an
stuff.
hour too, or are they longer?
So they're the same length, but it's geared more towards people that have kind of experienced the history part of it already. So
Okay.
I take them a little bit slower through the house and everything, but it's still about an hour.
That's cool.
Yeah, still $10 too. So none of that's changed. You just get a K2 to walk around with. So
Fun.
That
That
is
sounds fun. I'm interested, Shelly. I know Shelly and Denise were up there. Did you guys have any crazy experiences up there at Hinsdale? Anything that Shelly's
No.
Shelly looks like she's nervous.
Is it
No?
secret?
I need to. I'll just say I need to go back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we need to go back.
We have a lot
Yeah.
of unfinished business.
Yeah. Definitely.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're not ready to talk about it yet. We do need to go back.
We do,
and
definitely.
maybe sit down with Dan and Kay and hash things out with them. But it was definitely crazy.
We did sensory deprivation there, and the responses were very intriguing. Is why we want to go back. So we have more questions, basically.
And it was, of all the times that I've ever done it, it was the most accurate, and it almost seemed like there was not a single thing that the person said that didn't match to the question. You know, there was like no gibberish, there was no random things that didn't make sense. Like every single answered a question that we had just asked. And it was crazy.
Some of us even didn't make sense until, I don't know how to explain it, but
it was crazy.
It was crazy. It was different. It was definitely different.
Yeah.
I highly recommend it. It is definitely an interesting place.
Yeah.
And the tree offering, you could ask them. I was obsessed with making sure that we had tobacco to do the offering. I am also Native American, and I just was drawn to that. And that was probably the only thing I was really interested in at first. So when I actually got into the house, the stuff that happened in there was like bonus, because I was more fascinated with the land than I was at first with the house. But the house is very awesome too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely like a duality.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We actually had a kind of cool experience because we left that night about 2:00 in the morning to drive home. And on the way home, when we first got there, I tried to play a Native American song for them while we were giving the offering and stuff. And it would not play until we went to leave. And as we went to leave, it just came on my phone. And as we're leaving the woods. So then when we left that night, I turned on my actual music on my car, which is hooked to my phone too, but it's not in my favorites or anything. And I'm like, what is that noise? It sounds like my brakes or something. Well, here it was the Indian music, the Native American music. And
wow.
I actually reprogrammed my thing and put it back to the home thing. And Denise watched me do it, and it started playing it again.
Wow.
And I'm like, that is crazy.
Yeah.
And now every once in a while it'll come up on my car too. And I know it does have what's that word I want?
Shuffle?
Algorithm to it that your phone recognizes songs you like, but that's not a song I listen to like all the time. I had to search this song, so it makes sense to me that it keeps playing every once in a while. I feel like it's me calling us back.
Right.
Yeah, it's drawing you back.
I definitely need to go back, and I think that it would be good to go with a small group.
Mm-hmm.
And
I mean, it is a smaller. Take Amanda.
Do you want to go?
Man, you want to
go? Another girls' night.
Yeah.
Another girls' night at Hinsdale.
It'd be fun.
It was interesting watching you guys just kind of document your trip, just like seeing you get out and investigate other locations outside of Madison.
It was fun. It was fun.
You guys are going to start a group, and you guys are going to start going different places. I can see it.
I'm totally down for that.
Nobody's down for it. Don't ever lie.
I mean, it gets hard. You know, we got a lot of shit going on, but you know, we're definitely down for going other places.
Excuse me, choking on myself here. Stephanie wanted to know if Shelly, did you have any experiences at your night at Fairfield?
Which night? I've been down there quite a bit lately. I didn't really investigate though. I just pretty much hung out and helped out, and I investigated the one night when Tina was actually there. I don't know if she's still watching. We got a few good EVPs in the one bathroom there. I said I haven't really investigated. We went down one day, but we really moved around too much is what I feel. We didn't stay in one place long enough to really, and we were able to debunk one thing. But I mean, it does have that creepy vibe that is like, I need to know more about it also. I just think, I don't think I don't know how to explain it. I haven't spent enough time as I have here in Madison. So, but yes, there's definitely things that make you go, there.
Oh, let's see. Dustin said he's a land history nerd. He's also half Navajo, and his father is full 100%.
Sweet.
I need to learn more about the Native American connection with how they deal with spiritual stuff,
Right.
like smudging and stuff like that. I think, where does one like me, Kay, what kind of reference do I look for in learning that? Is there anything that is it something that you were brought up with yourself, or is it something that you taught yourself?
Yeah, so my mom, she's full-blood Seneca, and my grandfather was actually part of the council. I'm actually also a descendant of Chief Corn Planter and Chief Red Jacket.
Oh, wow.
Because I'm Seneca Wolf Clan, and so my mom, she grew up on the res before the removal and everything, so before Kinzu, and she actually got to learn from the medicine woman. Her name was Mert Peterson. Sorry, my mom's last name is Jimerson. And so she taught her a lot growing up. And so my mom's just kind of passed that down. I'm trying real hard to hold on to as much of the traditional stuff as possible. I'm actually a practicing Wiccan, and I'm actually looking to set that kind of aside for now. And then I'm going to be learning shamanism here soon. So actually with Chris Sutton, it's kind of a branch that I'm going into. And I had to go down to the reservation and get permission from my elders to do so. So there's quite a lot to it. One of the big things, like with my podcast and everything, is I try to hold to that sacredness and make that, like, I guess, make everybody remember that certain things are sacred. So like when you do with the smudging and stuff, it's actually a fire ceremony that you're doing. So there's actually quite a lot of traditional stuff that should be honored when you're doing that. So it's not just like you got a smudge stick and now you run through the house. It's not how it's done. So definitely for anybody who is interested in learning that sort of thing, do your homework, do your research. It's not for everybody. A lot of the stuff, because it isn't as well known, it's going to be kind of scary looking. So you have to be kind of prepared for that too. So it's definitely a medicine of another color. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah. So be careful and think about what you're doing before you get into it.
Yes. Yes. My mom will say, native power is one of the oldest. So it's something that it's ancient that you're working with. So it's got a lot of power because it's got a lot of experience.
Yeah.
That kind of makes sense. So
now, through all this, do you find that you're kind of bordering on the sensitive? Do you consider yourself a psychic, like a sensitive?
Yes. So I actually do like the readings and everything too. I'm also a Reiki master. I went through all of that, but because of my native background, I can do just normal like energy healing. So it's nice that I learned this, and I recommend learning as much as possible. But sometimes you have to say, okay, that's not for me. So I have that knowledge. I'm thankful for it, but it's to the side for now. So, but yes, I definitely do consider myself psychic. It's different every time. It just depends on what the spirit wants to show me and interact with me, with. Sometimes it's, I don't know. I do all sorts of weird things. I do astral and dream work. So
not weird here. Makes complete sense here.
But I actually did like an astral projection experiment too with Buffalo Niagara Paranormal, and so that was kind of cool. I actually came through their spirit box saying the code word dragon. It's kind of so yeah. So I do all sorts of witchy, weird things. I'm into it.
That's really cool.
I like
It's something.
Yeah.
We need
What's
to
that?
meet. As I like her, we need to meet.
Yeah. It sounds like. Yeah, there's definitely going to be a spiritual hookup here. Trying to learn from each other. That's why I like having like so many different kinds of guests like on at one time and getting like different angles and points of view. It's really cool. And you guys all have the volunteer thing in common. You guys are all kicking ass with these different locations, helping them rebuild and preserve the history, and it's awesome stuff.
We're trying.
Is Savage back there laughing?
I'm waiting for John Ward to pop in and ask about pizza.
Yeah, no, man. I was waiting for that too.
Pizza.
Yeah, I was like, do you have pizza during your private investigations?
I just said, why'd you mention pizza? Now I want pizza.
Right. I would imagine Kay up in his though, it's kind of hard to get delivery.
Yes, but we do have a Crosby's that is not that far away. I think it's like 15 minutes. So, and I
Nice.
love Crosby's pizza. So,
Oh yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's nothing like fancy, but I'm
Yeah.
a fan of the sauce. So,
Nice.
We'll have to try it next time.
Yeah.
We're connoisseurs. We just enjoy the ghost hunting food.
Yeah.
The sausage and
Sausage
onion
and
pizza.
right?
Yep, sausage and onion.
Sausage and onion.
One of the best.
Giorgio's, right?
Yep, Georgios.
You know it.
I'm just scrolling through, making sure. Dustin Garrison, astral projection, scary shit. I did it once, never again. I wasn't ready for what happened to me in my dreams, projection state. I stay away from projection. Well, then there you go.
There you go. I know your limits.
yeah, it's definitely not for everybody.
Yeah, it's something I've kind of always been standoffish about too. Like the whole scrying mirror thing. Like, I don't know.
You're talking my language.
I just, it's stuff that I don't know what I'm doing with, so I'm like afraid to even like go that route. So, I mean, Shelly, have you been using them now, or is it something that you're looking to
used
start?
it once, and I'm looking more into it. I got to watch Mike Hatcher use it properly. I did try it on my own, just winging it. And weirdly enough, I actually saw Kimmel in the future, and it was kind of scary. No, it wasn't. He looked like his dad, actually. But I was here when I did it. We actually made some that we were going to put in the gift shop, and I was just testing one out to see how it went. And it was weird because that's what I saw was Adam like walk forward, and as he got closer to me, he actually was aging. So I don't know if that was like a good sign, meaning he's going to be here for a long time to come. I don't know exactly what it meant.
He's aging too fast.
He's actually having dreams that Kimmel was going to die, so maybe it was a reassurance for me. I don't know.
Wow. Yeah, but I don't know.
I've been like thinking a lot about scrying mirrors, and I just don't know. I don't know if it's illusion. Your mind plays tricks on you.
Right.
Like, is there any light involved, or are you just staring in the dark?
Candlelight is what is recommended for it. Some people do use flashlights or lanterns, but I was told that candles work the best.
Is that behind you or in front of you?
You kind of put them like behind the mirror themselves, so there's not the full glare on the mirror, and then it casts the shadow onto you. Which, it could be just your mind playing tricks on you. But Kimmel looked pretty clear to me when I saw him. I mean, there was no doubt that was him coming. You know what I mean? I don't understand it.
And I'm sure there's like, there might be something. I was just thinking about it the other night. This is what happened. I was thinking about scrying mirrors. And I was just like trying to think through it. And, there might be stuff. And then I think about like black hole illusions where, that's why I asked about the light, because that happens to pilots. They think the runway's closer and it's not, not that close. Because all they have are the lights of the runway. So that's what like I was watching something about it, and that's where I started thinking about it.
Yeah, with the scrying mirror, supposedly though, you're supposed to be able to access the past, the future, the present. You're supposed to be able to speak to spirit through it. It's supposed to have all these capabilities. I have not experienced enough. If Mike Hatcher's still on here, he's actually knows a lot about it. So he's one to ask. He's the one that was telling me a little bit more about it. And I don't know if anybody else here has tried it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I haven't.
I've tried it.
Have you had experiences with it yourself, or?
Yeah, so me and Alani Milligan were at the Conjuring House, and in the bathroom there's a mirror in front of you and a mirror in back, and so we sat in the quiet, in the dark, and we just wrote down everything we were seeing, and afterwards we compared notes, and we were like hit for hit everything.
Wow.
So we a lot to do with like the woman who ended up killing her baby and things like that. There, a lot to do with the soldiers. So it was really weird that we were like getting details, though, is what was like the strange part. It wasn't like this vague, oh, I see a baby. Like it was, I see a baby. This is how it, died and all this. And so it's very, very strange. I've never done anything like that before, where it was like with another person, but it was something we decided to do before we finished up the night, and it was kind of cool.
Really cool. That's great technique. Just cross-checking each other, and not saying anything until after, and then comparing notes.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. It's awesome to get that confirmation with each other.
See, if I got that confirmation, I might be a little bit more,
Yeah.
But I don't know. There's just something with your brain, and
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard. I have never done it. I'm going to put that out there right now. I've never done it, so I don't know. But like just thinking about it, and the whole process about it is like, in my mind, I'm like worried that my brain would make something that's in the back of my head.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally get that.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of the times I want to try these different things. That's why especially doing what I do, and teams come in and ask me questions like that. If I don't have experience with things like that, how do I answer them honestly? So,
I like what Kate did. That would make me feel a little bit.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Community.
Yeah, it's kind of a.
You'll do it. Don't worry. We'll get back to you on that one.
Yeah.
Amanda, have you ever used a scrying mirror?
Nope. I see enough stuff that's not really there. I don't know if I need to like try to look for it. Like I woke my husband up last night, something about half a dartboard on the wall. I don't know. Sleeping, weird things. Like, I don't know. I get in some weird trance when I sleep, and I see enough stuff. I don't need to try when I'm awake. So
there you go. I'd like to try it, but I don't know, eventually.
Maybe next time you're up here, Heisenberg.
Yeah,
we'll give it a try.
There you go.
Down.
I'm afraid I'd just look at myself in the mirror like,
right. God, what did I do with my hair?
What? There's a hair out of place here. I've never in the future I'd see myself bald, and I'm like, oh.
I can see him doing it too.
I've never used a scrying mirror myself, but I have had an experience seeing something in a mirror unintentionally. I was at a seance that was being guided by a psychic, Glenn White, I was at the Knickerbocker Hotel. I was at a really cool event. He did a big table seance, and then Tim Shaw was there as well. It was a really cool gathering of people. A friend of mine, Cassidy Nichols, who's also done some research on the Hinsdale House, was there. But she was just kind of helping Peg out in the back, just kind of making sure everything's running smooth for the event. But she was watching the seance. Anyways, I'm like sitting at the end of the table, directly across from Glenn White, who's doing the seance. He's picking up on spirit energies. People were being amazed because what he was saying was making total sense to everybody. I know Kate. I think he was talking to Kate, and whatever he was coming through with Kate made complete sense. Then he moved on to me, and from what he was explaining, I was getting the connection with an aunt of mine who had just passed, who was, and the message she was conveying was something that she always told me when she was living. She's like, you got to slow down, take time for yourself. You got to smell the road, like just take time to smell the roses, like enjoy life. Because, I've always been a hard worker. I'm always doing something with family. And she saw, like, I guess at some point when I was out visiting her in Pennsylvania, probably drinking too much with her, she's like, you just got to slow down and have a good time. Well, while he's explaining this to me, directly behind him was this big mirror. And I just happened to glance up the mirror at, I guess, the right time, because I saw a shadow come between me, block me out, and the mirror, like, just like black me out. It looked like a figure of a person, and then it backed away. I didn't say anything. Yeah, I didn't say anything to anybody, but it was just simultaneous with the reading that he was giving me. I didn't think anything about it, and then so the seance was over, and Cassidy had been standing behind me the whole time. She was like, "Goose, come here. I gotta talk to you." It's like, "Goose, come here. I gotta talk to you." She's like, "Did you see anything while he was reading you at that seance?" I'm like, I saw something in the mirror block me out, like somebody was like leaning towards me, just like trying to tell me something. As he was telling me, somebody was trying to tell me something. And she's like, I totally saw a black shadow like standing next to you.
Wow.
And there was enough light, like ambient light. He had like red lights going on. He was using that red light energy. And she's like, it just appeared and it leaned towards you and it moved away. And Peg confirmed it. And I was like, whoa, crazy stuff. So like that also kind of like scares me from this scrying mirror. Like,
right?
What kind of shit am I going to see? And it's like what Kay says, if you're not like ready for it, or if you just got to be mentally prepared to get into it, before you try something like that.
Yeah.
I'm not mentally prepared for anything.
Right?
You might as well just do it.
I mean, the only real like piece of spiritual gear I have that I use, somewhat regularly is my pendulum and the spirit mat that comes with it. That says yes or no. I'm like, show me yes, and it swings
You don't
the
need
yes.
the mat, though.
Right.
Yeah, no, you don't technically do it. I do it for show.
Such a show off.
Well, I mean, when you're like leading a public hunt, it's kind of
Right.
nice to have the visual, but yeah, I don't know. It's just something that I'm just like, I don't know do you use dowsing rods? Okay.
I do, yeah.
That's another thing that I'm like.
I use them the most at the Dunkirk Lighthouse because I also volunteer there.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, so I use them there because I get a lot more like stuff with them. With K2 meters and stuff, we don't really get much with it. At least I haven't had that, as an experience. And with the spirit boxes and stuff, we don't really get too much. But once I bring those out, especially if there's like a nurse in like the group at all, I'll hand them to them because they'll get like just outstanding like results with them. So it's really kind of cool. And a lot of it has been validated. Like we'll be like, can you point to an object that you're attached to here? And it'll immediately go to the nurse's uniform and stuff that's there. Well, it's a military nurse, so it's not like
oh wow
nurse. And yeah, so we just get like a lot of cool validation things with it, and yeah. So that's the like only location though I really use them.
Okay. Now I myself have a pair that I won on Beyond the Senses Facebook page, the really cool Facebook page Shelly started. Where if you go, you can they call them donations. They raffle off different kinds of equipment, crystals, all kinds of spiritual stuff, metaphysical gear. Yeah, right. Just really cool stuff. And she had a pair of these dowsing rods up. I've always wanted to try using them. That's not something I'm afraid to, but what I'm nervous about is how to hold them correctly, so I'm not the one that's swinging them where I need to. So what would you suggest? How would you suggest I learn to use them? Like how to hold them correctly?
I kind of tuck my elbows into my rib cage to kind of keep it nice and tight there. And then you want to have this is going to sound kind of like backwards, but you want to have a firm but light grip on them. So I hold them tight with the thumb, and then when I'm ready to use them, they're pointing forward, and I'll kind of let up a little bit on them. But that way I'm not like choking them out. So kind of like how you hold a hammer. You don't want to hold it way up. You want to hold it down, but you want to be able to keep your thumb up there. So the dowsing rod should be about right there. If that, I don't know if I'm not holding any, so it's like hard to like describe. And then, you know, just kind of like if you cough or sneeze, you say tag, you know, for an EVP. If you bump or twitch, just tag it. So, you know, unless you're really trying to freak out your friends and you're like, oh yeah, it's going, you know.
Just gonna start swirling around like, oh, look at that.
So, but that's really that's all to it. I've noticed kind of like with the pendulum, it'll feel heavier on the ends.
Yeah.
And there's like a huge temperature change too at the ends when you're done with the session. And it's so weird because if you just have them out, you won't get that temperature change. So it's got to be from them actually physically grabbing it. Dowsing rods, you want to make sure you're not like near any like source of energy like water and things like that, because they will find those. They'll point towards water. So that's something to keep in mind too.
Gotcha. And I think that's what I was doing wrong. I wasn't keeping my thumbs up, and I wasn't like holding them. So they're just like freely swinging all over the place. And I'm like, this is not what I need to be doing. So I'm like, I had to ask somebody who's done it before, you know, so I'm going to practice with them before I start pulling them out. And what's that?
Bring them to Madison. I'll help you.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I don't understand how they find water.
What?
That's just like an old thing that they used to use. So they just kind of
really what they were using.
I don't know. Yeah, the magnetic pole or something of it. I don't know. Sticks, roots and sticks will do it too. So you don't have to have like the metal dowsing rods. You can just like use a stick that's kind of shaped that way, and it'll go towards water. And that I kind of get because plants, naturally want to go towards water, kind of like a flower will lean towards the sun or whatever. So
the one at Shaylaville aren't they like just basically sticks?
Yeah, it's just like a Y-shaped stick. It has like two like almost handles, and then just the long part that. And there was a gentleman there that had a long relationship with the Historical Society. He had Native American blood in him, and his father, I guess his father or grandfather, was full-blooded. And they taught him how to use what they called a divining rod. And it would lead them to pockets of water. And he actually, the gentleman who runs the Shalersville Historical Society, he owns a sand and gravel excavation company. And this gentleman would come out and actually use his divining rods to find pockets of certain minerals and stuff. And he said it was almost right on, 99% of the time he would be able to use a stick to find, what they were looking for, whether it be water or anything, like natural springs, underwater springs. So it's pretty interesting stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure there's like a scientific term or something that I just haven't learned yet for it, but it has been proven. It's just something like you'd probably find in the Farmer's Almanac or something. So
yeah, well, the way you described it makes complete sense, and I never really thought of it that way before. Plants' natural responses to find water resources.
Yeah, I've always wondered how that happened.
Yeah. So thus far in your time learning how to investigate there, Amanda, what piece of equipment have you found yourself going to the most?
Honestly, my favorite is Jeff's box, the Geoport. I was totally spoiled with his boxes, and Terry and Julie, they've got one. I don't think Jeff made that one, but it does the same thing. And like I said, that was my first night of investigation, and that thing, everything comes out clear as day. There's no question about what it just said, and it's just oh my gosh, this is like having a conversation. It was so quick with answers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Blew my mind.
Yeah, the spirit box is definitely something that I've been, now that I have one of Jeff's boxes. God, that was an amazing gift. It's kind of my go-to. I mean, I've been really trying to learn how to use it properly, and communicate, and it's coming through. I mean, it worked really well at Madison Seminary when I was when we were investigating with the Gateway Boys and the guests at the MadCon hunt. And then I love my EDI device, just the simple EMF detector. You know, that thing it was awesome actually at MadCon, at the after hours ghost hunt.
Yeah.
We were in the hole in the floor room or the basement, whatever you want to call it. I had the EDI device set up on the cement mixer thing, and they had their K2 sitting on the chair in the corner on the opposite wall, and all of a sudden the EDI device starts going off. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna walk towards it. When you want me to stop flashing, I get like 2 steps and like almost touch it and it would stop. But almost as immediately as I did that, the K2 meter, right, or not the K2, is a mel meter, which we've never seen actually work. The mel meter, at least Heisenberg's never worked. The mel meter right behind me started going off. So like next thing I know, we're playing this little game. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go to the mel meter. When I get close to when I walk towards the mel meter, the EDI device starts going off again.
Nice.
Like I was going back and forth, and like every time I would get close to one, the one behind me would start going off. I love that thing. It just, I mean, if I had my spirit box and the EDI device, the EMF detector, that's all I need. I mean, that's pretty much all I carry around with me anymore.
Yeah.
I'll let the other guys mess around with the recorders, because I mean, the EVPs are definitely the best. I think the best pieces of confirmation you can get. You know, when you're trying to document the existence of the afterlife. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah. But how often do you review them after you record? Right.
No, I mean, well, what we started doing the burst sessions where, like, you know how Adam does it and how they do it on TV, where you just ask like a couple questions and then you do like a live review right after.
Right.
That's about the extent of what we do.
Yeah.
We haven't done like the static recorders where we just let them run the entire time.
Right.
Because, you know, I mean, before, you know, we had the time. We didn't have kids, you know, running around screaming. We didn't have quiet. We had quiet time to be able to like sit and review recordings, hours and hours of recording.
Yeah.
And actually, Heisenberg was the one who would do all that anyways. So we would just all give him our recorders and he'd sit there and document hours and hours of recordings. And it's just, but now, you know, he's got a little guy running around that he's got to run after, and it's a lot harder. So we do the quick burst sessions if we do EVP recordings, and it's worked out well. It's nice too, because when you hear them, you can remember in detail like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, and you can go up there and try to like see if you can elicit more answers.
Yeah, and you can compare and contrast everybody else's recordings, and you know, debunk you know, a little bit easier. You know, it's more fresh in your mind, like who else was talking.
Yeah,
in case somebody forgot to tag, or who else's stomach was gurgling because they ate too much pizza.
Well, the hardest thing with EVPs is people know that we're being quiet, so they tend to whisper.
Yes,
You can't whisper. You have to talk loud so we know that it's you.
Yeah. And I don't know how long you've been doing it. I do it. I mean, I still catch myself.
And we're like, why are we whispering?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and it's so funny, like how the mood changes too. Like if you're with a group of people and it's like, all right, we're gonna do this EVP session, right? And everybody's all great. And then as soon as you're supposed to be quiet, like you're saying, somebody's stomach gurgles and it's like, I hate you. Like, shut up.
My God, you would hate me really much.
Who let you up here?
Shelley,
my stomach has said whole sentences before.
McDonald's and pizza before investigation, not a good idea.
Right.
Tina said, please tell Shelley the EVPs we caught in the bathroom at Fairfield are gone. And does anyone know why that would happen? I do not know.
I've actually had that
I
happen
do.
a couple times on investigations, other than hitting delete Heisenberg.
Never mind.
I actually have had that happen. Actually, when I had my emotional breakdown in the mind warp room, Andrea has it on video, but my recording that was in the corner there recording the whole time, when I went to play it back, it was distorted and then just disappeared off my thing. But all my other recordings before that are still there, and after that, just that one is gone.
Which bathroom did you guys investigate at Fairfield?
Do
you remember?
The men's bathroom. Yeah, it was the men's bathroom. Yes.
Okay. I just asked because like the
she
bathroom
was
and
using her phone.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because the first
we got some
women's
really intelligent
restroom,
responses.
that one creeps me out.
And then we were in room 316 because that's the room that I'm drawn to there for some reason. A lot of people say 314, but I'm really drawn to 316. So we went in there and did some, and we actually got a yeah, and it was clear as day. He answered us. So that was a pretty cool night. It's a shame that they were erased, though.
The bathroom that she's talking about is the one that we investigated when we were there.
That's the one that I was.
Oh, it's
in.
the same one.
The same one.
Oh, okay.
The men's side when you go down the ramp, right? You go down the ramp and it's right there.
I don't know.
Yeah, if you went down a ramp, that's a men's restroom. The one I'm talking about that creeps me out is one of the women's restrooms. Like if you're on the first floor going up to the second floor, that first bathroom there and the main staircase. That one creeped me out since the first time I saw it.
Door shut on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that one I didn't like. When I actually have from I did my very first walkthrough when the haunt was still there, of me having experience in that bathroom.
Yeah, from day one, like not even knowing the history of the building, like that building creeped me out.
I think it was. I don't know, it's on my phone. I think I had some kind of pain in my throat in there, and then I felt like just very sad.
Yeah.
In that bathroom.
Yeah, it's super heavy in there.
It's weird.
You're weird.
That was
right,
the most
Tina?
activity we had when we were there.
It was in that men's bathroom, yes. Yeah. And I actually saw a little girl while I was in that man's bathroom, and I hadn't really talked to people who had been there before, and I guess that's a common occurrence. I didn't know that at that point. And Chelsea actually had a video camera. If you're listening, Chelsea, you still need to look at that footage, because she saw something as I was seeing the little girl pass in front of the camera.
Yeah.
And she said it was about height. So we're hoping we did get it on camera.
Yeah.
That would be awesome to see.
Slammed in the stall door, like two doors in front of us.
Like
it was really loud.
Yeah.
It was really
wow,
loud.
no kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's just, I mean, you don't normally like, oh yeah, investigate bathrooms.
Right.
Like, you know, like
we don't even know why we went in there.
Right.
Right.
I always feel weird when I'm leading a tour. I'm like, nothing like following a total stranger into the bathroom. Follow me.
Right. Let's go hang out in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't underestimate bathrooms, I guess, though. You know?
Right.
Oh. Weird shit happens in bathrooms. I'm just saying.
Right?
Oh, listen to what she said.
No pun intended. Seriously.
Okay, so that's different than what I thought she meant. Her recordings are still there, guys. But when we did it, we did like what you said, the burst ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we heard the EVPs, and they were Class A. You could hear them plain as day. She's saying, but when she went to playing back for her husband, you could hear her questions, but the EVPs are gone. So the recording.
Weird.
Yeah, that's weird.
Oh.
Weird.
Yeah, I don't know what would cause that.
Someone there doesn't like Bill, apparently.
Who would like Bill?
Right. I like Bill.
Well, I know sometimes your ears, like depending on how close you are to the recorder or whatever, can play tricks on you. Like somebody had sent me, I can't remember if it was you, Mike. I don't even remember what investigation it was. I just know that somebody had emailed me like a couple possible EVP recordings. And I like had my headphones on. I'm like listening. I hear nothing. So I take them off. I just sit back, and I just, out of curiosity, I'm like sitting back from the computer, and I played it back. And like the farther away I got from the computer, the more clear I heard them.
Yeah.
It was
Huh.
the weirdest thing. I just think sometimes maybe it's the frequency that they're recorded at, or whatever the spirit, whatever level the spirit is coming through. It just, you got to kind of tinker around with it. They might still be there.
Yeah,
Right.
it's
Maybe
crazy
she
how
needs
when you move them out, like you said, that you can hear them better.
Yeah.
So a lot of times when I listen to them now, I keep it right in the middle.
Yeah.
Hi, Kathy. Sorry, had to say it.
Yep. Mama Santori,
Miss
hello.
you.
I mean,
Oh yeah, Sean.
yeah, you go through the bathroom to get space.
Yeah, that's what I was. It's scary to go pee in there because you think that basement door is gonna fly open or something. Like,
Oh, I'm not even afraid of that.
I'd be like, ah.
In that basement.
like I'm
At
glad
least
they
be
have.
on the right spot, though. You're already on the toilet.
Yeah.
That is the last place I want to be talking to a ghost, is when I'm sitting down trying to take care of business. Hello?
Take a K2 with you when you go to the bathroom.
Right? Yeah.
We'll be like, uh-oh.
No, it's not the time.
Right. Oh my gosh, that's good stuff. Well, kiddos, we got about 3 minutes left. I'm gonna go around the board. Tell us where, what's going on with your location, where we should find the information. Shelly, flashlight tours. What's the information on those? What do we got coming up?
We have back-to-back this weekend. They are pre-sale only, though. There are still some spots left. They start at 7 and go till midnight. Friday and Saturday. We have them next weekend, too. I think we're doing them every weekend, but I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that and get me in trouble with ad because I'm not sure. But I think we're doing it every weekend in October. I think what month it was.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Very cool. Definitely worth it.
Yeah, you go to the Facebook page and.
Yep. Yeah, the Madison Seminary page, Mad Crew page, all the info's there. Amanda, same thing down there at Fairfield, correct? You got some some flashlights coming up.
We've got flashlight tours tomorrow. Ticket online sales only. And I think there's probably going to be some more maybe next weekend and the following weekend, maybe.
Okay.
But I don't think that those are out there yet. So Addie, don't
Gotcha.
hurt me. But definitely Friday. So just check out Fairfield County Infirmary for more updates coming soon.
Yep, all the information's right here on Facebook. So
Yeah.
they let everybody know in due amount of time. You'll figure it out. You'll see the info. And what about you, Kay? What do you guys? Where do we go for your information and what's going on up at Hinsdale?
So Dan's got quite a few pages. But the Hinsdale House Restoration Project page is the one where everything is like put out first. And my next day for the day tours, flashlight tours, is going to be the 14th, which I believe is next Wednesday. It's 1 to 8 p.m. hour-long tours, and they start on the top of every hour.
Awesome. Really cool stuff, guys. I wanted to thank everybody for coming on the show tonight. It's
Thank you.
It's been really cool. There's a lot of naysayers out there that think that all these locations are just out to make money to line the pockets of the owners, and we know that's not the truth.
Right.
People are talking a lot of shit about it, and I just felt like, Denise lined up the guests, and then I just thought, it'd be a great idea just to have like a volunteer appreciation night. Have our friends on that run these locations, put their sweat and tears and fear sometimes into these locations. I think the work that you guys do, and I know Mike and I try to do what we can when we can, up at Madison Center, and we're gonna hopefully spread down to Fairfield, when we can help out. And I've already told Dan, anytime we can help out, we can come up to Hinsdale and help out when we can. But it's very important. You guys do such great work. We would be losing these places if you guys weren't doing what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you very much, all of you.
Thank
for everything
you.
you're doing.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
having us. It was super cool.
Yes.
I'm very,
Yeah.
very excited to be able to explain this whole new world of everything
Yeah.
we're doing to save these historic buildings and stuff.
Find out there's
Yeah.
other people like you too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I
And
found
honestly,
my
talking
people.
to and it's real. I love talking to people who just got into this and
Yeah.
started, volunteering and investigating, because it's refreshing for us guys who've been doing it for so long, or what feels for so long. I mean, I've been, I'm 43, and I've technically been researching the paranormal since I was, I think like 17, 18 years old. So I've been in a while, but it's refreshing to see people come in and like get excited about it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's really cool. So welcome to your family, Amanda. But with that,
Thanks,
what's that?
guys. I feel right at home.
Good. You should, because we're all a bunch
I
of
feel right
weirdos.
at home. Thanks, guys.
Yep. So that's another episode of the Cryptic Paranormal Show, everybody. I want to thank the guests for coming on, Shelly, Kay, Amanda. Thank you so much. And we'll be back next week with another stellar show, I'm sure. Denise, love you, girl. Thank you for being on tonight. Heisenberg.
Yep.
Yeah, Heisenberg. Yeah, whatever. We'll spook you later, Crypto.
He's here.
We'll spook you later, Crypto heads. You guys have a good weekend.
Thanks.
Bye.
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 Bye.